Oh dear. Bob is just standing there. You're ready, Bob? Okay. It's 8:47. Is this day 5 now? I don't even keep. Oh, you know. I mean, I was keeping track, question mark, but I haven't been keeping formal track. Say I haven't had like a document that says, okay, Barbara's done this. I guess that's because we haven't been uploading these yet. So if I was uploading, I'd probably know which day. I probably would know which day we're at now. Sorry, because I would have been. I would have been conscious of which videos got up and which day it was from. Perhaps depends how long it takes us to upload. I don't know. I think today's day 5. A bit earlier. That's because we haven't eaten yet, but we have a plan to eat. Well, we did eat a bit, but we didn't really eat anything. We have a plan to eat soon, but okay, the volume is really low. How the plan works is we need to train first. That's how the plan works anyway. The reason why we want to train first is because 10.6. There we go. It's because if we eat, then it may take a long time before we can train again, because my food would need to digest. Or I'll be in pain. So we do earlies first. Let's see who's here. Nelly! Oh my goodness. Nelly. Nelly feels like someone. She was a core sportsmate for me, Nelly, but I stopped spending time with her. I think the Pro League is serious to that though. Because before it was just everyone. But I had my old group, you know. Barbara, Harry, Ian. Barbara, Harry, Yoshi, Nelly, Abby. Those are the main ones. Yeah. And then we got James later and Susanna. But it was Abby, Nelly, Harry, Yoshi, Barbara. And then we got Tomoko and I, Siobhan, for example, but then you see more of them now. You don't really see Nelly, Abby. In particular, you don't see those two too often. I miss them. Really miss Abby. Do miss Abby. I think that's Sarah next to Ian. There's a late throw. I was going to talk about my mood, but then we started bombing. Oh wait, Nelly has your earrings. Actually you're wearing Nelly's earrings, Bobby. Nelly and Helen wear those earrings. I don't. Maybe Keiko wears them as well. I think Keiko does. There's Andy. I think that's it. And then Sandra and someone else wear the pink ones. It might just be Sandra, but I don't think it's just Sandra. Oh, it's another late throw. The hook was alright. Got the ball closer to that spot, but he didn't. I don't know. Oh, I see, right. Something about the hook was wrong, so he didn't get the strike. Here's Barbara. Yeah, I think the feeling is we don't look forward to anything each day, so then you have 108 points. I don't look forward to anything each day, so then each day is sad. I don't know. I can't see things changing anytime soon.
Nice strike.
I was going to say we should just roll with it, but then after I thought of that in my head, I was thinking, but the ball's rolling, so it would look like a pun, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? I'm not really a pun person. Oh, yeah. The puns come out. Oh, you got a 247 setup, yeah. So this. A bit weak.
Spare.
It's Nelly. Shot orange. Bum. Nelly. Oh no, you got the spare after a strike. So you actually have a 248 setup, not a 247. Imagine getting a spare after a strike saves you 1 point. Okay.
Strike.
Well, my plan is to do a normal session. My back did not like that throw, Barbara. I need to do a normal session, so just these late splits. And then the special wings. While standing up. Although the fact that Barbara's scores yesterday were really high. She got 290 twice in a row. This is the new Nelly. Some of the high scores that Barbara's gotten ever since we started training again were from that session yesterday when I was just sitting down. Well, what interests me about that is when what's her name? When Apple got 299 points, I was also sitting down. I missed a pin on the other side. Interesting. So my back hurts because I'm standing in a position that I feel accounts for the mic, because otherwise the mic might rub against my cardigan and make uncomfortable noises, which I don't want you to have to suffer with, but that comes at the cost of my back. Okay, I don't want to affect the mic. You want a device to help you stop the mic from scratching. Okay, that will cost you 1 back, please.
Finish.
1 back? I only have 1 back. If I give you my back, I'll have no back left. Well, I'm sorry, that's what it costs. You have to pay 1 back to prevent mic problems. You didn't miss any pins, Barbara, so your form is really good. I've said it before, but I feel like this is one thing that some people forget, is if you're getting 9 out of 10 pins, you must be doing something well. But it's not a strike, so a lot of people will see that, and like when we get to frame 4, you press that plus button and restart the session, because you know you can't get 300 anymore. But I'm saying 9 pins, that's really good. Look at how you messed up. It's like 9 pins. if you're getting 9 pins, it's a lot easier to see, well, I think it's easier to see what went wrong, because there's only one pin that didn't get knocked over. And maybe you can use that to see how the pins missed that one pin. If there are lots of pins that you missed, then I guess there's more to keep track of, question mark. But if you only missed one pin, I guess it's easier to look at that one integral area that got missed. And spot how you make the mistake, and then next time you have 10 pins, you can try and do something to get that pin knocked over. So you keep seeing pin number 7 being missed, which is actually what kept happening for Barbara. Then you think, okay, why do we keep missing pin number 7? And then you look at how the pins go around pin number 7, and then based on how much knowledge you have, you make adjustments. So you're late for strikes, Barbara. I forgot about them. Which I guess is nice when you forget about it and you don't expect it, or you're less likely to expect the result that Barbara just got from a late first strike. That's why when we did the eyes thing yesterday, I said let that one sink in rather than to keep doing it. Keep doing it and then you're like, okay, it needs to be done like this. Sorry, good luck. Then you start to think, okay, it needs to be done like this, and then you get wrong.
Nice spare.
And then you get upset. Well, you don't get upset, but it's just most people seem to get upset from my experience. I would say that sounds like I don't know a lot of good people in this context, i.e. in the context of bowling well. I don't know, because it's like, to say you're not a good person could mean so many different things, but I'm not saying in a general sense. I'm saying in the context of bowling. In the context of bowling, I guess I don't know that many patient bowlers, so I guess that's what I was trying to say. No, I don't know that many patient bowlers. I don't know any patient bowlers apart from Tomoko, but that's Tomoko is a Spocko Square. Like, she lives in Spocko Square world, like Barbara. I guess Barbara is also patient, but I guess when it comes to patience, Tomoko's the one I talk about. But in my world, I don't know any patient bowlers. Wow, oh my goodness. Classic. That looks like Sarah. Sarah has brown hair, while the others have black hair. Wow, that looks really good, Nelly. Oh, too much, yeah.
Nice spare.
Isn't good. What? You see spare? Yeah, I know. She got a spare. Doesn't mean that it was good. It depends on what it is that you wanted to achieve. It's funny how Ian's in the tricolour outfit. You have 89 points. I'm thinking, if you set yourself a goal and you ultimately didn't reach it, then you failed. You didn't succeed. I did a bit more that time. that's why again Barbara could be getting strikes, but if the strikes are sloppy, then I'm thinking, well, Barbara, we didn't achieve our goal. She could get 12 wonky strikes, and I'd be saying to you, Barbara, that was not a good game. And if someone else could be looking at it and thinking, Barbara, you got 300 points. You did very well. And I'd be saying, what do you mean? Well, I know what you mean, but that's not how we feel about it. We hurt it too much. Again, like, that's a strike, but no, don't do that. Unless you can do it exactly like that every time. If you're trying to get that kind of strike, then that's a different story. Like when we tried to get the parity split, if we got the parity split, great. But if we got a strike when we're trying to get a parity split, well, that's not really good, because we're not trying to get a strike. We're trying to get a parity split. It's like the parity split is the strike, and the strike is the parity split. So if you're getting a strike, you're actually getting a split 6. If you're getting a split 6, you're getting a strike, because that's what you want. I guess as a metaphor, oh my goodness, as a metaphor, because people like to get strikes. That's why we're saying the parity strike is, the parity split becomes the strike. In fact, we've actually got half of a parity split right here. Oh, that's not bad. The thing that you want is, I guess, metaphorically, the thing that you want is a strike. So say Barbara getting the ball right there to hit those 2 pins, let's say that's a strike. The thing that you want, your goal, is the strike. But what the strike actually is, in actual, like it, well, I don't know. Right now the strike would be the strike, but if Barbara doesn't get a strike here, then what actually is the strike could be different. Maybe I'll explain as time goes on. To be fair, that wasn't great. At least she got the strikes. I guess it's okay, but I don't think she got the technique done very well. So then I guess the technique itself is the strike. The strike isn't the strike itself, it's also how Barbara gets the strike, because that's what we're trying to do. We're not just trying to get a strike, but we're trying to get a strike in a specific way. That wasn't good. Yeah, we got the spare Barbara, I know. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true, Barbara. Nenny's here. That's kind of funny when Nenny's here. Yeah. Let's bowl first. Oh, you did that again. You can say it's not good, but then don't hammer it on yourself. In other words, don't make yourself feel bad because you didn't succeed. Although I wouldn't say that's what I was doing. I think I'd say I was noting that what Barbara did wasn't what we were going for, so I'd say, yeah, that's not what we want. But we're not saying that we're doing terrible, because then at the end, we do the thing that we said last time, which is Barbara knocked over at least 8 pins. So she didn't do that bad, and she didn't miss any pins either. So it's good work. There's still room for improvement, clearly, because I didn't feel like Barbara did great, but in a general sense, Barbara still performed really well. So, I wonder if it often feels like the things that I say contradicts other things that I've said. I wonder if it's a case where you have to piece everything together and understand the balance within the things that I've said to understand it. The balance between, okay, so Barbara's at least getting 9 pins, so that's good. And then, well, 9 pins isn't a strike, so that's not good. Because ultimately we do want Barbara to get strikes, not 9 pins. So if Barbara's not getting a strike, then we're not quite where we want to be. But then at the same time, don't forget that it is still 9 pins out of 10. So overall, it's good work. It's that weird balance between gratitude and I don't know, understanding what your goals are. I remember I watched a video that someone created, well, no, people created the video together, but the video is about someone sharing their thoughts. They have this concept that they called radical gratitude, and they discuss this feeling of, okay, well, at least I have this, at least I have that, but then at the same time there's an extent to which the person felt like, I have this, I have that, but this really isn't what I want though. I don't want to just say, I have this, I have that, and it's good enough, because it's not good enough, question mark. Interesting concept. So I think there's a point where, oh yeah, don't look like too much. There's a point where you say, alright, well, that wasn't very good, but at least it was this, and then you move on. And then, like we said before, not getting stuck on what's not good. So we are appreciating the fact that what we wanted was for Barbara to get a strike, yes, but to not, not to hook too much or hook too little, for the ball to go in a better spot to get a strike. Ooh, wow, that looks like a party. So you have to look at it and say, Barbara, you did alright. No, sorry, Barbara, you could have done better, but then at the same time you say, you did alright, let's keep going. I guess it's like the gratefulness pushes you forward. So when you're grateful and you appreciate what you have, it pushes you towards the goal that you want, which is more than what you already have. Yeah, that looked like too much. So again, no, that's not what we wanted, but she didn't do too bad there. Oh, I popped that, yeah. Oh no, yeah, that was really... Well, I'm going to stop fixating on that topic because it's not really how I function. What am I trying to say? I just do stuff. I don't really apply that much logic to it. But when I'm trying to explain it to someone else, it won't make sense to them unless you apply logic. Or sometimes it doesn't make sense to people unless you apply logic.
Nice try.
But maybe that's why I don't like socializing too much, because in order for me to do that, I feel like I then have to apply logic to things that I don't apply logic to, and then that works my brain too much. I just noticed that she's gotten 3 strikes, so immediately when I saw that I thought, well, that actually looks quite good. But even something like that, I wouldn't necessarily verbalize. I tend to verbalize quite a lot, but I don't verbalize everything. Oh, it was a late throw. Oh wow, that hook was mad. I do like that for some reason you keep getting half of a pair ready split. And it's those two pins. You're missing 6 and 10. If you're not missing those two, you're missing 7. But only 7. So remember when I said before, it's during the actual swinging bit of your swing, if that makes sense. The bit where you apply more force is at that point where you need to twist your wrist. If you start twisting your wrist too early, you're not going to apply too much hook. You probably would in real life bowling, but we're not doing the bowling. The person doing the bowling is Barbara, so Barbara's not twisting as much as you are. You only receive a twisting input when you apply the force. So if you don't apply the force quick enough, the Joy-Con's awake. If you don't apply the force at the right time, then Barbara's not going to twist. That's just a limitation you have to work with. So I wonder if we're just hooking too much now. I wonder what's going on.
Spare.
Still trying to figure it out. It's Nelly. She got the other pin, number 7. I was thinking about, look, again, oh, you got a strike, but you still hooked it too much. Wow. Well, I guess your spin was just right, so that you could get the other pins knocked in such a way that knocked over those 2 pins. Because we can say that it was wrong, but clearly she did something right. I guess it's wrong because that's not what we were going for, which is what we were talking about before. Well, the hook made up for it. Sometimes I wonder if it's even the hook, or if it's just Barbara throws the ball at such an angle, so the ball's already travelling in that direction. Interesting. But it's almost like, it's like Barbara's here, and then what she does is she throws the ball so that it's going like this. And if it just travelled in a straight line from here, it would just give you a strike. I don't know. It would give you a strike. You mean you would knock over all 10 pins? Which puts the score as a... I don't know. Too much logic. Well, this is actually a late throw, so you lost in early. Wow, I mean, I don't know what that was. I still get this sense that you're hooking a lot. What I was going to say is this comment. Oh, I've said it before anyway. There I go again, interrupting myself. There's stuff going on outside. It's probably a plane. Wow. seems like too much hook after a while, so she was fine, her strikes were really good, and after a while, it started getting too close to the middle. She got 202 in the end, because she won Abby's game. Yeah, playing while recording, not just recording, I think more recording for an audience, because yeah, I think we're not supposed to be doing this as well, but we take the opportunity to say extra things that we think are important, but we otherwise wouldn't be saying if we were just on our own. As I said before, I do verbalize a lot of what's on my mind, but I won't necessarily verbalize additional things that I already understand, and then go through the extra effort to express it in a way that someone who doesn't understand may be able to understand easier. And then that takes away from my focus, and then I end up not focusing. But I already said in previous sessions that these training sessions would probably be better if I just did them on my own without recording. But going through all of this is at least making the playing a bit harder. I do think by going through this extra articulation, my brain is finding connections between other things that I've said, so in some ways it's still helpful. It's not like I'm getting nothing out of explaining things to you. To be honest, I think if I didn't get anything out of explaining things to you, I probably wouldn't do it. Use the stick, and the stick has a capital S. Also to move yourself, but I'm not there. It's Barbara. I still think the game has problems. It's supposed to make you feel like you're there. I understand, but the fact is I'm not. So it just draws too much attention to yourself. I don't need that. It's not about me, it's about the character that I'm playing with. And here it's Barbara. We're playing with Barbara. Well, that's the thing actually that differs from games like, Super Mario games. I've mentioned this before, but I haven't been able to figure out exactly, but oh yeah, we get new people. This kind of looks like Fumiko, but it's Megan. Megan! Oh, Megan! Absolutely shocking. Wait. No. See, I almost did Fumiko spin, Barbara. Wait, how do we do Harry spin? Wait, hold on, Barbara. Okay, so we actually want to be like this. Wait, no, like this. Yes, okay. Not bad, considering we didn't know what we were doing. I think at this point, if it was survival bowling, we'd go the other way and try Fumiko spin, but that's the easy way out. Okay, so
Nice there.
it could have been better though. So in Super Mario games, or even something like Super Smash Bros., the text in the game and the narration will often refer to you selecting your character, rather than customizing yourself. So this game seems to refer to the character as you, while Super Mario games will refer to the character as the character. So for example, let's say this was a Super Mario game, and then the narrator would say, choose your character. You'd have all the characters there, and then maybe, I don't know, one of them with Barbara. Okay, select Barbara, and then even the announcer might say, Barbara! And then, oh, it's this one. And then you pick Barbara, and now you're playing as Barbara. You're playing with Barbara. Is this... Let's just try. Not bad, but it was a bit offset. So it's not simply... So you see what we did? We went in between these two little dots here, and then we angled. But that's not necessarily how you do it. I actually wonder... We'll probably miss the strike, but... Well, just the pickup, but I'm just thinking... If we go along here, this little triangle... No, that would have been even worse. Okay. Yeah, you see that was in line with pin number 3. Now, I respect that you and your friends, Barbara, you're not really supposed to be playable characters in our world. You're more like background characters that you can play with. But then I still feel like, yeah, that doesn't look good. That's an interesting split 7. There are different ways to convert this split, but we're not going to be that creative. Your hook was really good because you got that pin flying. That was really close in my opinion. Yeah, so you guys are just extra people, so it feels like the player in my world doesn't feel alone. Because for example, we could just be here and there'd be no one else in Smoko Square. But we have Megan here, for example. So no, you can't select Megan, but at least you get to play alongside Megan and get to see what Megan's doing. So that's nice, except that people don't appreciate Megan, they just call her a box. Well done. Although that's why we call her a box, because you can't select her. You don't get people calling Zelda a box, because you can play with Zelda, but you can't play with Barbara, so they call Barbara a box. Harry spin, okay. Let's try that. Oh, I didn't swing. Too much. I was scared of the gate, Barbara. Sorry. The gate. Oh, you almost hit the bar. Oh, you hooked it too much again. Yeah, that was really offset. That would have been good for a split conversion though. Although if you're really trying to convert that split, I don't think we would have gone that way. You have 63 points. There's Megan. Megan! Megan! It is Megan, and I think you should throw late, Barbara. Alright. That was impressive. I wonder what happened. It felt like there was no power into the ball. To be fair, when the ball hit pin number 1, it looked like it bounced towards the right. And then it pushed pin number 6 sideways. Or something pushed pin number 6 sideways. Which didn't help get pin number 10. Sorry, Barbara. I think you can do that. Oh, it's close. That was a bit too much. I have other things in my mind, but I can't really get them out, which is a bit of a problem. I think it has something to do with Barbara almost messing that up. And why I say that is because I'm not really focusing on what Barbara should be doing. I'm just sort of doing things. We can do this, but... Oh, that was not what I thought. No, that's not what I thought would happen. Yeah, no. Because of the part of the island that the ball went on, there was less of a slope. It's frame 9, it's this one. It feels classic. Let's try hooking a bit more. You don't really get much space, do you? You really don't. Early frame, but I think careful with your hook. That's it. Interesting collision with the pins. Yeah, you got it. Interesting throw as well. And you made it to frame 10 with how many points? 163. And you got those 2 split 7s. One of them you couldn't, you could have gotten that other one in frame 2, but we wanted to try your positioning for that special lane. And then the other one, you were close with that one. Megan. I like Megan's hair. Megan's hair. Oh no, this was bad as I thought it was. Megan. Oh, Megan. And Steve. Me and Pierre's in the same outfit. I think it's Pierre, not Martin. Uh-oh. Oh, 7. What would happen if you got 7 strikes? Well, really she got 5, so she got 120 points, and then she got another, what, 30? So she got 150 points, and then whatever she got before that, question mark. That's my guess. It's my guesswork. You know, you actually started off fairly wonky and your score is 223 points. I think that's quite interesting. You're doing the thumbs up. Yeah. So your score is 33, went up by 200. So you had 73 points. No, you didn't. You had 63 points. And then you got, what? Did we say 150? If we said you got 150 points after getting 73, then that would actually equal 223 points. Now you only got 73 points because you got the strike on frame 6. But I guess that's part of the package, isn't it? So it's more like... Well, no. That means you had the 7 strikes in isolation gave you 150 points. Normally you only get 150 points if you get 6 strikes, but because the frame 10 strikes are just extra, you get the first one. I don't know. If you get the first strike on frame 10, it adds up to... okay, yeah, that's why. Because if Barbara's got a streak, By the time she gets the first strike of frame 10, I'm thinking, okay, that's 30 points for that one. So then what about the second one? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It sort of goes 30, 20, 10. But then 20 plus 10 is 30. So in my brain, I thought, okay, she got 5 strikes in a row, so that's 120 points, and then there's the extra 2 strikes at the end, 20 plus 10, 30, 150. But I don't think that will make sense to you unless you really understand bowling scores. No gate. There's no gate here. It's just this. Get ready, Barbara. Yes, so you can't select a character. You can customize a character, yes. In this game, that's what you can do. But then at the point when you customize the character, which for us we say you've created a Spocker Square Pass. The Spocker Square Pass is like your identification. So if you show this to the desk, they'll say, okay, so that's what this person looks like on your card, and then they look at your face and they say, yeah, that looks right. You look the same. You can go. So it's like right now, Barbara's Spocker Square Pass also has her earrings, or those earrings, and also this outfit. So then when she checks in, she looks at it, they look at it and say, yeah. Otherwise they'd be confused because Barbara doesn't wear earrings or the outfit. But we have the Spocker Square Pass with Barbara's earrings, those earrings for Barbara and that outfit. So then when they see it, it makes sense to them. If that makes sense. That's how it is for Barbara. This specific Barbara we're talking about in this specific Spocker Square world, that's what we're talking about. Maybe for other ones it's different. You know what I'm trying to say, right? It's our personal metaphor. So, something like that. What are we trying to say? Yeah, the Spocker Square Pass is you customizing your character. So for Barbara's world it's the Spocker Square Pass, but for our world it's you customize a character. You make a character, customize it with whatever the game gives you, and then you get to play with that character. But I guess the issue I have is even at that point, the game doesn't describe the character as your character. It describes it as you. So it puts a lot of emphasis on you. This is you and not just the character. I guess we could talk about Annie for a moment, because Annie could be someone's character in my world. Of course, for Barbara's only seeing Per Annie. Barbara's not seeing anything else. But we're also only seeing Per Annie. However, the character that we're seeing doesn't necessarily have to represent Per Annie from my world, if that makes sense. Or whoever created Per Annie isn't necessarily represented by the character. It could very well be the case, but there's nothing to verify that. Well, I don't have anything to verify that. So we might look at whatever Per Annie does and assume that it's the person, but that's not necessarily the case. It's like if I use a stamp for Barbara, I might be using it because Barbara wants to use it, not necessarily because it's a stamp that I would use at that particular time. It gets worse with Susanna because Susanna's really vibrant, but I'm not like that. So if you're seeing a bunch of Glee stamps, and then you're thinking, okay, so why is this guy using a bunch of glee stamps? Is he trying to rub it in? But that's not my personality. I don't use a bunch of glee stamps. The Susanna, at least our Susanna, the Susanna we see specifically here, yeah, she likes to be happy, so she uses a lot of glee stamps. As you may have seen in previous, mostly trial mode sessions, you'll see her really happy. But that doesn't mean that I use glee stamps or that I like to use them a lot, because Susanna doesn't necessarily represent me. To some extent or another, that's what I'm trying to put across to you. It just seems to be that the game portrays the characters as the people rather than just characters, which is something that doesn't happen in Super Mario games. In Super Mario games, it's not, or sometimes the game refers to you as you rather than, sorry, the character as you. That's some other games. Uh-oh, that was not good, Barbara. You got a lot of pins on. There's some other games do it differently. Off the top of my head, I have Super Paper Mario in my head, which it does what some people describe as breaking the fourth wall, but I do find it quite interesting. It's the way in which Super Paper Mario makes it seem like the character and you are not the same. So you're helping Mario play, and maybe one of the other characters, the NPCs, the non-playable characters, they'll say to you, or they'll say to Mario, you have to press A to flip to 3D, I think, but Mario doesn't know what A is. Mario doesn't know what the A button is, so Mario asks, well, what's the A button? I don't know what A is. Well, it's fine, you don't need to know. There are beings beyond us who understand what the A button is. This information will help them. Uh-oh, is that a... It could have been an Annie sweat, but it wasn't. Uh-oh. You don't have to break the fourth wall to do stuff like that. But what is the fourth wall? I don't really know what the fourth wall is. It's just a thing that people keep saying. My understanding of it is characters will talk about something that exists beyond their own world. So it's like me, I'm talking a lot about the game, but to Barbara, the game, this isn't the game, this is Barbara's life. So there's a bit of, I'm not sure, yeah, I don't know how to describe that, but there are two different worlds colliding, basically. Wow, that was really good. Okay, so interesting. It would be nice to just look at the bowling a bit more than just talking. That's another thing that's annoying about these sessions, I guess, is that we're doing a lot of talking, so we're not really doing that much focusing.
Great double.
It's not very good. No, the strike was okay. I mean, it's not great. For me, I don't feel like it's great. Without... Does she have a 258 set up? She might actually. She might do. She might have a 268, because I think if she got a strike there, it'd be 278. Try that one. It's looking good. Well, I feel like my assessment of the strikes is a lot more lenient when it comes to the special lanes, because they already have the challenges. You have 88 points. Could you late throw that? No, I think that's an early, to be honest with you. Oh, you threw it late anyway.
Amazing.
Oh no, what was that? It was a great strike though. Where's Megan? Megan's not happy. Yeah, that's Pierre because he has white hair. Oh, it's to pair anyone. Oh damn. You did it just like pairing. It's Megan and Lucia. What's his name? Steve. Oh, it's this one. Okay. What do you want to do here? So, I feel like when you did it like this, it was too much. It doesn't feel like it should be. And your angle is a bit different here. Oh no! Well, what was that pin doing? I wonder if it's because you threw a bit late. I mean, you should pick up the spare if you get it right. No. So that was still wrong. Okay. Was that frame? It was frame 8. What will this be? No, it's the 3 bars, okay. Barbara. Try that. Not that. Let's make an hour. Let's make an. I liked this session a bit more because we did a bit of focusing on the bowling. Well, that's kind of funny because Barbara's gotten so many strikes on this session. I'm not sure if that's related to how I've been feeling with this session. It's a bit more of a connection to the bowling. I think the ball drifted away from pin number 5. Yeah, it still got it, but some action with the other pin too, hitting pin number 5 and pin number 1 hit it. So you're back on the field. Wow, what happened there? Interesting. Megan. Very interesting. And Steve, the ball popped into his head. And actually get 2-3-2 though. Late frame. 2-3-1. Oh, that was nice. Focusing on the bowling a bit more is nice. I like doing that more than talking about all these things that upset me. And then we don't need to get stuck talking about them. I would like to finish the discussion though. That would be nice. We're already at 59 minutes. And we still have one more bit of bowling to do. This thing's fully charged now. Yeah, you can't pick your character. You can't pick characters. That's fine. You can make them, but then the game puts a great emphasis on you playing the game, even though it's you playing with the character. And then I think it gets a bit more personal as well, especially when you play online, because then now there's a great emphasis on it being you rather than it being just these characters here. You still have the usernames show up. That's quite a standard thing with online games, it seems, but I guess you lose that immersion with the characters that you're playing with, because even the game puts an emphasis on you being the person doing the stuff. Like when you play in the Pro League, the game likes to say, you did this, that means you're really cool. It doesn't have something like, it would be nice if I could edit this into this video, but I probably won't do that. Maybe I'll do it in the next video. I'm not sure. Where you could have a certificate that says, well done, Bob. You actually did get certificates in Wii Sports Resort for achievements. And they would be tied to the me that you're playing with. So it would say, well done, this person with this name did this. It doesn't say, you did this, you're super cool. No, it just says certificate, certifying that this person with this name, this character with this name and this face, well actually, you only see the me face on the Wii letterbox, if that makes sense. But in the game, Wii Sports Resort, it would show the certificate showing that whatever character with their name did this achievement. Yeah, they did this, or they got a personal best score. It will show that, but it won't say, you did it, you made it this far, etc. I will also say that this is only the second game in the series to feature online play, so maybe some of the things, at least in regards to online play, may be related to a lack of experience when it comes to online gaming, ? But I think if you had stuff like that, where you just have passive certificates to say, yeah, the person with this name achieved this thing, then maybe the person who achieved it, they'd be happy for the character a bit more than themselves. Personally, I feel like it would be really fun to have a certificate with Barbara's face on it. Imagine you're seeing Barbara's face here, and then, I don't know, it's zoomed in or something. Can I even do anything funky like that? No, I can't, because this is the program. See if I can do some fun stuff. Wait. So you can see Barbara's face. It looks really funny seeing her up close like this. Well, you can't see her up close, but I can. Oh look, I've lost the thing now, I can't control it. Oh well. So you see Barbara really close, and then I don't know. See if I can find some kind of this. No, that's for that. So what's this? No. Don't really want to change those. Well, about this. Certificate of achievement. Barbara the Tigress. And then it shows what she did. The background color, so you can see it, I guess. There'd be a gradient. Oh, that's really light though, so you can't see anything. Yeah, what about that? That clashes this color. So I don't know, something like this. This is really basic, but it's like you've played it and you get a screenshot, and it's got Barbara up close, and it says certificate of achievement, Barbara the Tigress, 5 strikes or more, because she played the game and got 5 strikes, and then you just get to see that, and you can see it, keep it for your records, so that you get to see Barbara's achievements. So if you wanted to imagine Barbara's done this, then I guess you get more immersion with the character in that way, rather than it saying congratulations, you did this, you're a pro. Instead it says something like Barbara's a pro or something. And now you can see which note I originally had for that one. Right, let's get everything back to normal. Just an idea. And I think the game focuses too. I like how it's picked this one again. Too much on you. You're the one doing it, and all the people pick it up. I think it's funny because the other people do pick it up, but I think it's more it already works with them. So in their head, they understand. Yeah, this is me. I'm the one playing the game. So they understand it. The narrative makes sense to them. Pop. I don't pop. Barbara, can you get this? I feel like you can. We'd have to do something really funny. Are you ready, Barbara? I mean, you can't go there, can you? I don't know. Anyway, let's try this. Oh no, you threw it too fast. See if there's one way you can throw a bit slower and test it, although there is a big incline here, so I'm not sure if that will work. Oh, how did you spin it that one? Bonk. Well, you got the pins over, just about. I like this replay. Will it show the pins being knocked? Well, we can't see anything. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want the point to be made, but I'm not able to make it right now, I don't think. I don't want to try that hard. Also, we're here to play bowling, not here to talk about problems. We kind of are, but at the same time. Is that? Yeah. Yes, offset from the middle. No. 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 What's this one? Wait, there's a bar right there. I want to be careful of this one. It's annoying. It's the thought is stuck in my head of whatever problem we're trying to address. We didn't get to fully get through it. Interesting try.
Nice.
I'm not sure how that works. There's lots to learn about the game. Okay, so what's his name? Pierre is wearing the floral tracksuit. Let's see. It's a bit close. You'd have to hook it a lot though. Can we even do that? Not like that, no. I have a way of hooking it on, but it doesn't feel natural. I'm not sure how you would do this in real bowling. Oh dear. Well, she definitely hooked it on that. What did we even do? We must have hit these things. Yeah. Oh, it's not pairing anymore. Megan. Alicia. Wait, no. Okay. Tricky thing to do. I don't need to talk about it. It's because you got that pillar to watch out for. You can do it, you can practice doing it. It will be a bit harder than going the other way, but you can do it. It shouldn't let the difficulty stop you. That's what you feel like doing. Do what you want to do, and then, yeah, you set yourself the goal and work towards it. You're too busy growing up in, I just want the strike, so you don't really think about mastering the technique. Interesting topic, because if you have a technique and you think it's not working, and what you want isn't the technique, it's the strike, then you might need to give up the technique and try and find another technique that works better. But here it's not about getting strikes by any means possible, it's about mastering techniques. So then it's, okay, well we have this technique, we're just supposed to stick with it. Even if it stops giving us results. We need to stick with it until we can get results out of it. It's a completely different mindset. It's almost like we're not used to it because we don't spend time in life to apply that, and then we don't stick with that application ourselves. That's what happened in May. There was times where that would happen, and we'd say, okay, well, Barbara, you can't do that again, because if you keep doing that, you won't get strikes, you get eliminated, blah 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 blah. 181, you've gotten that score recently. I think you've gotten that score 3 times now, 181. And your scorecard was looking really bad. And then you got 4 strikes in a row. How do you go from 92 to 181? Your score was almost doubled in just 3 frames. You threw the ball, 1, 2, 3, 5 more times, and your score was doubled from 92 to 181. It's not really doubled, but it's almost that, isn't it? It's crazy. It took you 7 frames just to get to 92, and then it went. It's interesting stuff. Breaking habits. Breaking habits. Oh, I'm quite sure I've seen a thumbnail from Matt Holson which has the words breaking habits in it. And remember, this guy does fitness training, keyword being training. It seems to be a theme, isn't it? Breaking habits. Goodness, you know, to be fair, he's actually part of the reason why we're even here again. Because the stuff that he was talking about, it just made me think about our training, Barbara. And then to see how far he's gone. Also here, there was another person who made a sound mod, but I guess really you're saying sound modification for bus sounds. So a bus vehicle, he made a sound modification for the bus vehicle in a bus simulator, and he spent over a year on it, nearly 2 years, between him thinking about making it and then actually making some kind of like a finished variant of it. He might work on it some more, but he's released a finished variant of his modification. And what he came up with was quite good, but it's to think that he spent he spent over a year doing that. And that combined with Matt Holson, I guess it reminded me how that combined with Matt Holson and then the P-Chat channel as well, because that channel across between September and now, we're almost at 400 videos there. And I'm thinking there are so many fun videos that are there now that if I didn't create the channel when I created it, I wouldn't have as many as I do now. And also, if we created that channel years ago, then we would have thousands of videos that I really like. I wouldn't say that the P-Chat channel has any videos that I don't like. And that's interesting because I have a total of 6 channels at this point, and it's only the last 3 that I've made where I would say there aren't any videos that are on those channels that I don't like. I would argue that this channel being the first one, then Baby Rosie being the second, and then Baby Rosa being the third one, they all have videos that I don't like on them. There are videos that you'd have to force me to watch them, or I'd have to force myself to watch them, because they're really not that engaging for me. But these new channels, what's going up on them? I'm thinking to myself, I can't wait to sit down and watch these when I want to relax for a bit. we don't feel like we can watch them now because creator mode might be too present. In other words, I might be thinking too much about how I made the video and I don't want to do that. That's the whole point, is that you're not thinking about the creative process, you're thinking about what's in the video in front of you. That's what it's about. Because we're in the process of making videos and we've grown up in an environment that it emphasizes personal achievements and things like that. The sort of thing we were talking about when we said the game talks about you and not Barbara the character. I feel like I can't watch my own stuff if I've made it too recently, because unless the video is so stimulating that I forget that I even made it, I might be thinking too much about all of the different things I had to do. And then I might get to a moment that I remember editing and thinking to myself, did I do that right? Or no, I could have done that better. That's not really what I want to be thinking about. It's not even that you want to be thinking about anything, it's just you're watching this video and it's relaxing. But if it's not, then I don't know. The point is, with those later 3 channels, the new ones that I've made, and with AQ Bus's bus mod, and with Matt Wholeson's fitness training, the thing that's common between all of them is you start earlier and then later, further down along the line, you get the results. But you have to start in the present. You can't plan it, say, I'll do it later. No, you need to start now. Unless there's a practical advantage to you doing it later, don't hesitate, because if you hesitate, then you'll find that the results that you're getting a lot later, you could have had them earlier if you just did it sooner. It's good to think about the practicality of what it is that you're doing, so don't do something that's not reasonable for you. But if it is within reason, then I think you should do it now. If you want to get the result that it would give you, or that it can give you, then you should start now. For example, if you really want the infinity rank in this game, you should start with training now. It doesn't mean you're going to get the rank now. It could be a whole year before you get it. But then if you were to start a year later, then it would take you a year longer, or it could take you a year longer, by which point you could have already had the rank, if that makes sense. So, again, make your start now, and then you make the start now, but you don't overdo it. You don't go straight for the big goal. You just go, you take little steps, and then you'll reach it. You'll reach your goals before you're conscious that you're even there. I don't know, it's like the time where, I don't know, the easiest way for you to get 300 in a game of bowling is to not even realise that you're about to get the score, i.e. you're in the Tomoko zone the whole time. You're just throwing the ball and enjoying the moment that you're in, enjoying the action of throwing the ball, thinking about how you're going to swing as you're swinging it, not trying to preempt it too much, but just when you're getting ready to swing, you're focused on, alright, I need to do it like this, not need to, goodness me. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what it is you need to do. You don't put too much logic towards it, because it's really not that difficult. You just pick up the Joy-Con, you look at what's in front of you, you make a basic judgment, and then you swing. You say, okay, I'm going to do this. And based on what you see, you get feedback, i.e. you might look at it and think, yeah, this is what I wanted to do. I remember that. Not even you remember it. I think it's the positive feedback is the action of you remembering it, if that makes sense. You do the bowling, you like what you saw, and then because you like what you saw, you gravitate towards it naturally. I think some people, especially me, well not especially, but I think I'm an example of someone who gets scared that I won't naturally gravitate towards something, and so then I'll try and force it. For example, my emphasis on talking about the character thing, I'll probably find myself talking about it again, but I didn't think that I would. I don't think that I will. So then I'm scared that I won't. So then I put too much of an emphasis on it. But if you have a positive feedback towards something, you'll just go back to that thing. It gets to a point where really with these strikes, I don't think we need to think too much about them. Ashley. Sorry. It's picky Ashley. Siobhan and I. Is that Barbara? There's two of you, Barbara. You're very distinctive, so I don't think that's not you. You know what's funny is that the other Barbara is next to I. That is the training trio, that's what that is. Barbara, Icy Barb, and we've got Picky Ashley. Who else was there? I don't know. I know Ashley's there. There's only one person with long and wavy brown hair. Yeah, that's you. Is that Julie? That's so much fun. Julie and I. Picky Ash. Siobhan. Who else is there? That might actually be Evelyn, because you're here twice. Oh, wait, no. Ashley doesn't have the earrings. Yeah, that's Julie. It's Pablo. Pablo. He's here. Pablo. Ash. Siobhan, Barbara. I. Julie. And then you. I think that's it. This will just wrap it up. I think, again, we're getting scared of just usually getting scared of not talking about things that we're probably not talking about. Your legs are brown, Barbara. Maybe I just relate to it because I have your skin tone. I usually don't see your legs because they're covered up. You're not passing strike. And that is 120 points on 2 tries. Yeah, and you're just wearing overalls. And Siobhan, she's gone. Jeannie. And that's why this training is infinite. Do it forever. Don't, that's a late for it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what happens. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. You said positive feedback. So if you're doing all of this casual bowling, and then you find something that you really like, I think with the positive feedback logic, you'll just find yourself going back to it. And then because you go back to it, it ends up being a technique that you try again and again, and then when you start getting what you really want, is I wearing Tiddy's outfit? When you start getting what you really want, well, you'll just be more happy with it, so you just keep doing it. But I'm thinking, let's say you want strikes, and then it's a bit like what we said before. Well, it's a bit different. You want to get strikes, and you do something, and you think, oh look, well this works. To be fair, that's what happened. I know I keep interrupting myself. What am I saying here? What you're seeing is the result. I don't know. Also, I like the colours of the outfit that the other barber is wearing, because it's very similar to yours. You do seem to like purple, don't you? When we picked up this game all those years ago, you were doing this technique from this spot. The spot that you're standing in right now. That's where you bowled from. No, you didn't bowl from there, I did. Yeah, I was bowling from that spot. Oh, you missed the pins. You got what? Did you get 266? What did you get? Because I'm thinking it would be 264, but not 267. 267. If you got this, no, wait, yeah, I think if you got the split 8 and then 1 pin, maybe it would have been 267. If you got the split 8 and 0 pins, it would have been 264. I keep thinking about the time where both James and Luomo did that, where they got 9 strikes and then they got a split and you 258. I'm happy you got 258. It wasn't your final score, but I can still see it. Achievement unlocked. Barber got 258. And it happened without me realizing it. That's the best part. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, Barber, well, I bowled from that one spot. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. I have tried alternative spots, especially when I've doubted it, but even when we doubt the new spots, we just go back to the original spot because it's the spot that I saw it. I saw that spot. I didn't see the spot. It's more I just picked this spot because I felt like, based on what I understood, this was a good spot to bowl from. Got the strike and thought, well, okay, well that's kind of what we wanted. That right there, that's the positive feedback. And then, as I say, from there, we just kept bowling from that spot because we liked bowling from that spot. We liked the result that it could give us. I would be saying that is the nature of positive feedback. So I don't think you have to really worry about. I don't think you have to worry about perfecting something if the thing that you want. Oh, I don't know. I really don't. Sorry. I'm not supposed to be a guide anyway. I'm just doing this stuff, and you get to watch it for free. Well, you get to watch it no extra cost. What, you want me to start a channel membership? No, you need to do that. I'm not going to tell you to give me money to play a video game. That's silly. I think it's silly anyway. But then again, money is silly. All of it's silly. But that's what makes it fun. That's why this stuff exists. Consumerism exists because it's supposedly fun. If it wasn't fun, then it wouldn't exist. Consumerism doesn't make sense in some contexts, but it still exists, doesn't it? So, yeah, that's it. I'm thinking about loopholes, that's why I'm not really confident about what I was saying, because I could say to you, we like that spot that Barbara is bowling from, so sorry, I'm not sure. We like the spot that Barbara bowls from now. I've liked that spot since 2022, and I keep going back to that spot because it's like my whole brain seems to like it. It seems to work with how I naturally swing, how I naturally twist my wrist while I swing, which isn't intentional necessarily. And it works with my goal, which is to get a strike. So put yourself here, just throw the ball arbitrarily and you get a strike. Oh, that's everything that we want. We want to be comfortable playing the game, and we want to get all the pins on table. So then you gravitate towards it, not really without thinking too much. But then I don't know. Makes me think about Barbara herself. It doesn't take much for me to say, yeah, let's play with Barbara. I think where it gets cursed is when maybe I'm thinking about what other people think, so then you end up not seeing Barbara. I think if I wasn't really concerned about people having an issue with me playing with Barbara, then you probably wouldn't be seeing Apple. You'd just be seeing Barbara. Because I have no problem with playing with Barbara. And I like Barbara, so I just gravitate towards her. I don't have a problem with picking Barbara. That's why you got Siobhan before Apple, because I said to myself, oh, it'd be nice to play with Siobhan, so I just pick her. It's just an idea, yeah, Siobhan bowling, why not? I've done it before. Yeah, it doesn't take much brain power to pick Barbara. You just pick her. But then let's say there are other things like carry spin. We had to get ourselves to do it a bit more. But I guess there's nothing that says you can't get positive feedback out of the Harry spin technique, because again, when we used it and then we saw the strike happen, we thought, what? Well, that was cool. And then when we tried it again, we remembered how we did it before, and then we just tried doing it like that. And maybe we didn't get the strike, but we got a result that was similar. Say the ball was close to that spot, and we thought, well, that means what we did was quite good then. That in itself sounds like positive feedback as well. So it's not like you're going to try something wildly different next time. That is, if you remembered it naturally. I don't know. And that goes back to what I said before. When Barbara did use that technique and she got a strike, I said, okay, let it sink in. Don't try and force it to happen again. Then when we actually did do that, we did try and do it again. We didn't really know where to start because we were consciously thinking about doing it again rather than just letting ourselves do it. And the Tomoko zone thing is serious. This little one here, get yourself in the Tomoko zone and just throw the ball. And don't be scared, because if what you really want is a strike, you'll do things. When you see it happen, you might feel it within you, draw that connection with the sport, and then try it again naturally. You don't put too much force into it. You're not scared of making a mistake because you already have an idea in your head and you want to try it. When you get scared of not getting the strike, maybe that distracts you. But when you tried it the first time, question mark? Perhaps you didn't even think you would get the strike. Which I would say is true of me when I first played from that spot that you see Barbara bowl from. You see Barbara bowl from that spot 9 times and got a strike 9 times. But when I went there for the first time, I didn't think I was going to get a strike. I didn't think I was worthy of getting a strike. My brain was just thinking, well, let's say I was going to try to get one. Where would I start? Maybe let's try this spot. And then you try it, and then you get the strike and you think, wow, that actually worked. Because you had no expectation. It's with this thing, I said it before, where you go to this spot because you still think it will work. It's like you expect it to be close, question mark, but you don't actually expect it to happen. It's weird, so you're expecting it, but you're not expecting it. I'm not sure how that works, but that kind of describes how I felt when I did spot this square bowling for the first time. When I bowled from that spot, I thought it might work, but I didn't know if it would. But that gave me the confidence to try. Whereas when let's start that again. When I bowled from that spot from the first time, I didn't know if it would work. Then when we did it, it did work. But now that we've seen that it works, over time we thought to ourselves, we need to bowl from this spot. And also, we wanted to get the strike. At this point, we know that we can get strikes. It's not a question of can we get strikes. It's can we keep getting them. No, I don't even think it's that. I think before it's a question of can we get the strike, and now it's not even a question, it's I want to get the strike. And so when you're inquisitive, you're asking the question, can you get the strike? You're open to maybe you won't get it, but you still want to try anyway. Whereas when it's I want to get a strike, it's not a question of can I get it? I know I can get it. In the context that you've gotten it before, you know that you can get it and you don't want any other result. You want to make sure you get it. So then you're scared of not getting it. I guess you're not really so scared of not getting it if you don't think you'll get it at all. I don't think that's non-exclusive, but maybe it just comes from what your intentions are. If your intentions are to get perfect games all the time, then maybe you will be more scared of not getting the strike. But I still think if you were to try getting the perfect score for the first time, so it's your first time playing bowling at all, and already your goal is to get the perfect score, but you've never bowled, at this point you don't really know if you can do it, because you have no evidence to suggest that you can actually bowl and get a strike. It's only once you get the strike, then you're thinking, okay, so if I just do this 12 times in a row, then I'll do it. Definitely. So once you've gotten the first strike, then you start getting scared, because if you can get it, now you don't want to not do what you did. No, you don't want to not do what you did. In other words, you want to hold on to that technique that you just performed now. You want to make sure that what you just did, you do it every time. But when you don't feel like you can get the perfect score, then perhaps it doesn't matter to you as much if you get the strike or not. But you still want to try and see if you can get it. So you just go to your spot because you like it, and you just go with whatever you remember. well, let's see. I remember when I got the other strike, I did something a bit like this. Well, let's try it again. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then it's, oh, that's interesting. It went like this. Whereas when you're thinking this needs to be a strike, you throw, you think, okay, well, last time I did it like this, so I need to do it like this again. You throw, it's not a strike, and you're thinking, where did I go wrong? It didn't happen. I didn't get the strike, but I did what I thought I did last time. I guess your mindset's different. You're more fixated on the thing that you did rather than doing it again. I think in this example anyway, when you're not expecting yourself to get the strike, you're not really thinking about perfecting what you did before. You're just thinking about trying to do it again. And it's like this throw isn't the same as the last throw, and you appreciate that more. Maybe it is in your head that this throw is similar to the previous throw. You have the intention of throwing it the same, but you know that it's not the same throw. So you treat this as a completely new throw. This throw is inspired by the previous throw, but as far as you're concerned, it's a completely different throw to your previous one. So then you analyze this throw. Maybe you might compare it to your previous throw because you might remember the previous throw. Not because you're thinking about comparing it, but maybe you just have that memory of, last time was a bit different. I remember it was a little bit different to this one. And it just naturally comes to you, if that makes sense. I'm not really sure how to explain that bit, but I think your mind is more open to interpreting each different throw when your goal isn't so precise. I don't know. I guess the thing where you don't think you'll get 300 points versus you feel like you have to get 300 points, with the one where you don't think you'll get it. It's weird because it's like you don't care about getting it, but you still want to try to get it because it's within reach. I don't know. You're not that inclined to getting it, but you understand that it's a possibility of you getting it. I think even in this session, the one that Barbara just had, I acknowledged that at that point Barbara had gotten 9 strikes. And that if she got 3 more, she would end up with 300 points. So then I thought, well, I don't really remember, but I think I thought something like, let's see if Barbara can get it. I really don't know what I was thinking. It was quite a while ago. I guess because you know it's another session, right? And you know that, I guess in the back of your mind. Yeah, that's it. In the back of your mind you want it. But if you could somehow get rid of that, I think you'll be more likely to get the 300. If it's at no point in your brain do you want the 300, you're more likely to get it than if you were to want it, because then when you get closer and closer, you know that you're closer to the thing that you want. That thing that I said before, the time trials, you're closer to breaking your record or getting a new personal best. So then your heart rate goes up. You get more scared because you feel like it won't just naturally happen, which is weird. Especially when the first time you did it, it was fairly natural because you didn't even know how to do it at that point. You just went to that spot, you threw the ball, you got the strike and thought, wow, okay, well that was cool. But then you don't feel like it will happen again, so you try to force it. Even if you get the strike that way, it's not really the same. And when you naturally let it happen, I guess, well, it's easier to keep your heart rate down because you're not thinking about it. And it's easier to not distract your brain by, let's say, just how close you are to that record. Like I said, Barbara ended up with 258, but I didn't know she would end up with that score. She didn't finish at 258, but she still had the chance of having it appear in the scorecard. I think if I knew that Barbara could end up with 258, my brain would have acted a bit differently when she got 9 pins. Which is usually what happens when she actually does have a 258 set up. Like last time, she got 247 because she ended up getting a 9 spare. I'm not sure if she got a strike afterwards, but she definitely got a 9 spare. She must have got a 9 spare strike, and that gave her 247, when she would have otherwise have had 258. No, she would have had a strike 9 spare then. Yeah, my guess anyway. A strike 9 spare, that gave her 247, whereas if she got the other 2 strikes, she would have had 258. Because I knew she would have had 258, because I know what a 258 setup looks like. At frame 9, it would have shown up with 228. At frame 8, it would have shown up with 198. When you see that, you know 258 is on the horizon. So I'm scared that, well, she could get it, but probably won't, because I'm not worthy of 258. You see that? I'm not worthy of 258. Okay, you looking down at yourself. How are you supposed to be successful if you're looking down at yourself like a failure? But then to say that you are worthy, I think that's equally as distracting. Look, Barbara can get 258. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get Barbara 258, and then you get the 9 spare. You feel like an idiot. But, well, one, you're not an idiot. I guess you were unknowledgeable, question mark, or you had a knowledge gap. Sure, we can say that you had a knowledge gap, but then to call you stupid for that, not my narrative. But that thing of I can do this, so I don't know. Maybe for some people they need that because they're not naturally tied to the sport. I don't know. Like if the sport doesn't give them positive feedback, then maybe they do have to forge it together. I wonder if this sort of ties in with how people say, so this person is just gifted. Yes, I don't know what that means, but yeah, I'm just good at this stuff, good at that stuff. No, look man, you're gifted. Barbara, you're so gifted. I can see it in your eyes. Barbara's laughing at me. Yeah, it's like that. If someone says, you're so gifted, but they don't understand what that means because it's just natural to them. That's probably what it's like to be autistic. That's probably what it's like to be autistic. How can you say that when you're autistic yourself? Well, look, because I don't know what being autistic feels like. I know what being me feels like. But when someone says, oh, you're autistic, I'm thinking, okay. Or I feel something And then someone else doesn't feel that way, and I'm thinking, but why don't you feel that way? I don't understand. It's always been like this to me. No, that's because you're autistic. What does autism have to do with it? That's what it's like. That's what it feels like. It's sad. You just get called autistic because you do something. Okay. Someone could be not autistic and do the same thing, and then they get called autistic. I don't know. But in terms of someone being gifted, you know, when you're gifted, you usually don't notice it, if being gifted exists. So in that sense, I would argue, if it does exist, I would say, as a theory, I would say that I'm gifted in bowling. I'd also say that Barbara's gifted, but I guess that's just the specific Barbara that you're looking at. She definitely looks like she's gifted because these are the results that she's getting. And she keeps saying, I'm not a professional bowler, i.e. Barbara. She'll say she is not a professional bowler. She's not an experienced bowler, but she can do this. So someone else will look at it and say, Barbara, you shut up. You're an experienced bowler. Hold on, you don't need to use those words at me. No, Barbara, I'm telling you, you are an experienced bowler. And then the person just walks off. Something like that, I don't know. Barbara, you are an experienced bowler. But to Barbara, she's not doing anything spectacular, she's just throwing the ball. And it just seems to come to her. So all the advice that I'm saying, maybe that only works if you're just built for bowling, and if you're not, then maybe you have to try harder. So what is it like for the Infinity guys? Are those the gifted ones, or some of them forged? Or is it the ones that, the ones who use the exploits are the ones that they sort of string it together, but it's not natural to them? I don't know. I don't know. Who are the gifted bowlers? See, I would say Power Annie is a gifted bowler, but I don't actually know her personally, so I can't say that she is. The same way someone would look at Barbara and say, yeah, you're a gifted bowler. I guess that's how I've always viewed Power Annie, but all I can see is what she does. I can't see what goes through her mind. Although it is true that the more passionate bowlers, they're more likely to show certain things that other bowlers won't. If we were to look at Susanna, for example, dancing around because she can, and throwing the ball from any spot and getting a strike out of it, it's not, she doesn't practice that. That's just Susanna. And if you were to look at it from a, oh, I'm the player sort of thing, don't say it like that. Anyway, if you were to look at it from a, I'm the one helping Susanna get the strikes, I don't really know what Susanna's doing, or I don't know what I'm doing for Susanna. I just look at it and say, okay, try this, and then it's a strike. And even I'm thinking, wow, did that just happen? That's crazy. I didn't really put much thought into it. But if bowling just comes to you, then you can do that. Whereas for someone else, they'd have to practice doing that crazy dancing stuff, and then just going, alright, yeah, bowl from here, strike, boom. And then for them, it takes them longer to get the strike, longer to play better and improve. Perhaps the gifted ones have more capacity to perform great skills or more advanced skills than the people who are apparently not gifted. maybe that's how it works. We've been going for 2 hours now. A lot of it's just been talking, but I guess the talking's helpful. The theory work, the bowling theory work. Although not all of it's bowling, some of it's social stuff. But at the same time, I guess the social stuff's important because let me check when this place closes because I haven't eaten any food and I'm supposedly getting vegetables. It's a corn and a cob. Corn, C-O-R-N. I can get that if I order from these guys, but I don't know when they're closing, so it's a bit sad that I have to order food, isn't it? They close at 11. No, it looks like we have to order the food now. That's really sad. It means I'll have to go soon. There are other things that I wanted to do that I probably won't get to do now. And this discussion will be cut short because eventually I'll have to go down and get to the food, but this is it, isn't it? You don't get to choose these things. And like I said, we'll come back to this topic because we keep coming back to this sort of stuff. We've done it many times already. I'm getting text messages, I don't know why I'm getting them. I mean, okay. This doesn't seem important to me right now, sorry. Alright. Oh, I haven't done this yet. Okay. Yeah. It's a situation, but yeah, we'll cover this stuff because a lot of what we said today, we said it before, we're just reiterating it in a slightly different way. Let me make sure that I get exactly what I want to eat. To be fair, or to be honest, question mark, I don't even need to say that. What I'm ordering is not what I want to eat, we're just eating it because we're not going to eat anything else otherwise. So let's get this thing. Let's get this thing with it. Yay, they have water. I like ordering water because they don't have any nice soft drinks. Or they have a bunch of caffeinated soft drinks and I don't go into that. Yeah, we can get that thing to go with it. Cool. You're 2 pence away from free delivery. Oh, that's too bad. Can I just give you a 2p tip? No. Okay. Well, that's too bad for me then. I'm going to have to pay a delivery fee. I have 10 minutes to make this delivery. To make this order, sorry. Oh well. We shouldn't have been, well, we were not planning to be here for this long. We were planning to start 50 minutes ago. But here we are. I was going to say the mental game. We're doing a lot of theory work and not all of it's related to bowling, but it's still quite important in the context of bowling as well because these sorts of, I guess, thinking patterns and mindsets are going to be helpful when it comes to being a better bowler because things like getting yourself distracted, being scared of missing strikes, for example, because you want to get this score, that score. The game having an emphasis on you as opposed to the character you're playing with. It can distract you from doing the actual bowling, and that's really all you're here to do. Your goal is to throw the bowling ball and knock over as many pins as possible. and that even that is it's not made very clear. What's made clear is that getting a strike is super cool, because when you get a strike it shows all these fireworks, and then when you get multiple strikes in a row you get an extra caption. Double turkey 4-bagger. Fantastic. It's part of your fantasy. Amazing. It puts your brain in a maze. Wonderful. It makes you wonder. But you don't get that when you get a spam. It's just spam. Nice spam. Great shot when you get a split conversion. But I guess you forget that the game is only about knocking over as many pins as possible. It's not about knocking over 10 pins. It's like if you don't knock over 10 pins, you don't lose the game. You only lose the game if you get 0 pins. And you get 10 frames to knock over 1 pin. You get a lot of chances to really practice that spin control. And then even if you knock over 0 pins, you can just try again. Might cost you a bit in real life bowling, but you just try again. Practice the spin control, and you get that 1 pin knocked over. Yeah, you did it. That's why again I say, look, Barbara even in this session, Barbara knocked over at least 9 pins after every throw, excluding the pickup that she missed. So it's like on every frame, Barbara won because Barbara successfully knocked over as many pins as she could. Technically, she can knock over 10 pins, but she didn't knock over all of them. But when you say knock over as many pins as you can, what are we trying to say? It's like as many pins as you can is actually the amount of pins that you knocked over, if that makes sense. Based on the way that you threw, this is as many pins as you can knock over. If you threw differently, maybe you could knock over more, but based on the way that you knocked over as many pins as you possibly could. So you're fulfilling the aim of the game. I'm sure the game actually does say, yeah, it says roll the ball, and it actually says roll the ball, knock down pins, and knock down pins for the high score. This is the problem. It's no longer knock down pins. Well, I guess there's knock down pins for the high score. Knock down as many pins as you can, really. Classic bowling. Roll the ball and knock down as many pins as you can. But instead it says roll the ball and knock down pins for the high score. So then it puts an emphasis on getting a high score. Then when you start playing, you set a score, okay cool. Then you play again and you think, uh-oh, I'm getting close to my high score. I hope I can reach it. But you start thinking too much about whether you actually do it or not. So instead of just knocking down as many pins as you can, instead you're focused on knocking over more pins than before. And that focus, it's like the two different focuses, they can lead to the same result, but one of them has a greater emphasis on precision rather than flexibility. And that precision, it could put more pressure on you and make it harder for you to do what you otherwise would have done. Overcome obstacles to knock down pins. The lanes change every time. Immediately I don't have an issue with this. But this one, you see high score. High score is such a key word, isn't it? That's what everyone wants. But to really get it, you don't have to think about getting a high score. So I think, for me, I just feel like this isn't helpful. Well, society has an emphasis on it, so that's what you have to deal with. This order thing hasn't shown up with, like, it hasn't changed, it just says as soon as possible, so I'm a bit worried that, I don't know, maybe they're here already or something, I don't know, so I think I should just go. I don't want to, but it's probably in my best interest that I depart and see what's going on, so I'll have to go. Pick this up later. Like I said, it'll probably just come to us, the stuff. Whether it comes to us now or later. A bit like with the Infinity Rank thing though, I guess we really want it to come out now because we can see that there are problems in the society already, and the longer we leave it a problem, the more it will be a problem, but some things are best not rushed. I think everything is best when you don't rush it, so I think that says a lot. I think we'll just go now.